Do not bring your evil here, viewers, or Swamp Thing may get upset with you. This is a 2D platformer game. Imagine that, 2D on the NES. Strange concept. Developed by Imagineering Inc. and published by THQ. Oh, you know they made good stuff because they almost stopped existing till the Game Boy Advance came out, and it was released in 1992. It's based on the animated series, not on the live-action movies. There was a title of Swamp Thing also in development by Microsmiths for the Mega Drive and Genesis, but it was canceled. It would have been published by New Vision Entertainment. I'm thinking they probably played this one and realized this is not such a good idea. And here's part of the reason why not such a good idea. The game engine that they used for this borrowed heavily from The Simpsons Bart versus the Space Mutants, and we all know what a great game that was. If not, wait, we'll be looking at it, I'm sure. I might even be able to tell you when. Let me look at my thing here, because there's not a lot to say about this. And I want you to get an idea of just how long and tedious these stages are. Yes, we'll be looking at that game in November, so keep it in mind. Its introduction features the origin story of Swamp Thing as depicted as in the 1991 animated series. We take the role of the title character, Swamp Thing, battling foes throughout the Louisiana swamps and other locations in a side-scrolling format. Swamp Thing's attack methods include punching and firing sludge balls, which are acquired through the game. He may have the most useless punch in the world. The player must venture through various stages, which include a graveyard, chemical factory, toxic dump, and finally, Arcane's lab. Bosses include Arcane's Unmen, Dr. Demo, the Weed Killer, Skin Man, not making this up, and finally, Dr. Arcane himself. Lamar Mitchell currently holds the world record for fastest completion of the Swamp Thing game with a time of 18 minutes and 40 seconds, as confirmed by Twin Galaxies, the official supplier of verified video game world records to Guinness. Guinness. The Game Boy Swamp Thing stages include the Arctic, because Swamp Thing would be right at home there, the desert, again, because where else would Swamp Thing be, and contaminated rainforests. Swamp Thing also uses tools like camouflage and thorn skin, as he must recycle scattered garbage in order to score points and gain additional powers. Aside from marginal graphics, the NES Swamp Thing has received average to generally negative reviews for high difficulty, poor music, and dull gameplay. It's like they read my mind. However, while the NES version of Swamp Thing was based on a Simpsons game, it also provided the foundation for a popular unlicensed game entitled The Simpsons Return of the Space Mutants. This 2001 title serves as a sequel to the original Space Mutant games and is only available as a downloaded ROM. While perhaps faring better than its NES counterpart, the Game Boy version of Swamp Thing was not met with high praise either, getting a 2.5 out of 5 from Nintendo. A 2.5 out of 5 where the NES one seems generous. Swamp Thing has the most useless punch in the world. You can't duck and punch, which is a shame since most all the enemies are half your height. You walk incredibly slowly, but jumping speeds you up. You jump at about twice the speed you walk with. The stages are overly long. They're not very sparsely populated with enemies, thank God, because you can't kill them anyway. There's about 3 or 4 different types of enemy per stage. I spent a lot of time picking up drops from enemies, not knowing what they did, having no way to reference how many of these drops I had picked up. If I was on my way to achieving a goal or not, I could not say. The sludge balls, which Swamp Thing will fire from his hands, also not very great. Just overall, this is not a good game, and avoid it. And if I remember right, the animated series, also not very good. Avoid that also. Live action movie though, this man's a fan.